I'm going to show you how to find the area of a shape using the method of encasement. You generally want to use encasement when you cannot use a formula, or if you have a shape that's irregular, kind of wacky, it's not positioned so there's any perpendicularity that's easy to find. So if we look at the first problem, for example here, if we use the vertices as starting points and we draw straight down to the level of the next vertex, what we're trying to do here is encase the shape in a rectangle, and when you do this, you want to draw a nice tight rectangle around the shape. You should have one vertex on each side of the rectangle, and when I do that, I know that the area of a rectangle is the base times the height, and that's easy to figure out. So now I've created a shape I can easily find the area of. This is 4 units, we'll call that the height, and the base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 4 times 5, which is 20 units is the rectangle. Now you're probably thinking, but I don't want the rectangle, I want this thing right here. You're right, but what we can do now is we can use the area of the rectangle and then subtract these triangles that we don't want, and what we'll be left with is this area that we do want. So you guys know how to find the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle isn't bad. It's 1/2 base times height. Okay, so if we do that, look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. We need to find the area of all 4 triangles and subtract that total area from the area of our rectangle, so we'll be left with the area of the shape. So let's do triangle number 1. That's a 1 by 3, so that's going to be 1 times 3 divided by 2. Remember, dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2, so you're going to get 1.5 there. Second triangle is a 2 by 2, so we're going to have 2 by 2 divided by 2, which is 2. Third triangle is the same, so we're just going to cheat and not do the work again since we know it's going to be 2. And number 4 is a 3 by 3, so we're going to do 3 by 3 divided by 2, which is 4.5. Now we find the sum of all that space that we want to subtract from the rectangle, and that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. So to get our total area, what we're going to do here is we're going to do our area equals the area of the rectangle minus the area of all triangles, and that's going to be 20 minus 10, which is 10 units squared. That's the area we're left with. So the shape has area 10 units squared. Okay, now the next shape is a little bit more complicated, but what I want you to do is go ahead and use the method of encasement. Try to find the area of this figure. Go ahead and press pause now, and that way you can have time to work on it. Alright, so let's see how you did. If I'm going to encase this figure, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a nice rectangle around it. And I've got 2 triangles. I have one here, and I have one here, but this up here is a little bit strange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line to the vertex there. I've got a 3rd triangle here, and I can break this up into 2 other regions. Let me make that a 4 instead of a 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do again, same method as I used before, I'm going to find the area of my rectangle, and then I'm going to subtract the other areas. So in this case, there's some other things that I don't want. So my empty areas, we'll call them E empty. That's my empty space. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. The area of my rectangle here, it's not a rectangle, it looks like a square. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's also 5. So it is a square. So our area is 5 by 5, which is 25. That's my total space. Now remember, what we're looking for is this. So let's see if you end up with the same area as what I've got. And of course you can fast forward through this if you don't want to see it and you think you've got the right answer. You can always backtrack if you need to. Alright, let's do our empty areas. This is a 5 by 2. So number 1 is a 5 by 2 divided by 2, which is 5. Let's see, number 2 This one is a 4 by 3, so 4 by 3 divided by 2, because it's a triangle, that's going to be 6. Number 3 is a 2 by 2, so 2 by 2 divided by 2 is 2. Number 4, that's a 3 by 1, so 1 by 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. And then this little region up here is just a rectangle, and you can see if we break it up in 2 squares, it's 1, 2, 3 square units. So our fifth region is 3 units squared. Now remember, we have to add all this up. We have to get a sum. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, 17.5. So we're going to do our subtraction here. We're going to take our 25, which is our entire rectangle, and we're going to subtract all our empty area, which is 17.5, and 25 minus 17.5, you need to, because of the 0.5, be careful, it's 7.5. Generally, when I do something like that, I do 25 minus 17, you get 8 minus the 0.5. 8 minus 0.5 is 7.5. So you get 7.5 units squared as the area of this one. So, did you get it? I hope you did.